Hey everyone, Batel here. Welcome back to my channel. Long time no see. I hope you guys are doing really well. So I wanted to come back with some narcissism since my comment section is mostly based on narcissism and a lot of concerns about how do I deal with this narcissist when they left me with these children, or when I'm gonna have court with them, or they just took everything from me. And I have a huge smile on my face, not because I'm laughing at the situation, but because we've all been there. It is a really scary process and journey to go through, but we're gonna fill up on a lot of topics here, so stay tuned. Today, I wanna talk about how the narcissist actually has no personality, and then with this information, we're gonna dive deep, and I'm gonna explain to you on a conscious level how to really just deal with the situation and move forward with your life rather than stay in this fear and victim mentality state, which it's going to be a really long time to recover from what I'm about to say, because hopefully the realization is going to hit you and it's going to be very painful. Like I said, we've all been there with that realization once we actually realize what we were dealing with. And for many, it happened once. For some, it happened many times, like myself. And until you really understand what narcissism is really all about, you're gonna keep repeating these cycles, unfortunately, sadly, with other narcissists, because this phenomena is pretty huge for you to understand today. So happy Sunday. I really hope you've been well, and I really hope that this information today will give you a lot of relief and clarity and happiness and awareness on how to really move on from this toxic cycle. So you know how me, you, and some really wonderful people hopefully in your life have actual personalities where you can sit in a room with them and talk about meaningful conversations and have these really amazing subjects to constantly talk about and go really deep on certain things and always talk about something different. And the person that you're talking to, whether it's a friend or a family member or even your children, they have a personality, their own individual, pure personality, where you watch them and you're so happy to know that, wow, this person is really unique. This person is really special. They have this way of being because they are who they are. They have their own personality. Now let's fast forward or back forward, rewind to the narcissist. The narcissist does not have a personality. And that's a really key point on this video today. See, if a person doesn't have a personality, they can't have depth. They can't actually go deep with you on this journey of life, whether it's in a relationship or a friendship, or even a job. If you're in some sort of financial reasons with a narcissist. See, the narcissist is extremely superficial. Now, people don't understand what that means. They automatically think cars and money, and absolutely, that's what the narcissist is really all about. They care about looks. They care about all the external, you see? Narcissists always look externally onto things because they don't have an insight. They don't have a personality. And so they look for beauty. They look for status. They look for money. They look for dominance. They look for control. And that really stems down to why they have no empathy, because they don't have a personality. Okay, so let's keep talking about this personality. Narcissists mirror, and I've spoken about this before in many videos, they actually mirror you and every other person they've ever met. So every conversation that you or they had with someone else is just copy pasted into their brain. And so they may had a conversation with a coworker about something, for example, and they got this person's information, whether it was their personality or a story or something that happened to them, right? Now they're gonna go back home to you and they're gonna repeat this story to you as if it actually happened to them. And a lot of times when you're being gaslit or blame shifted, notice that the narcissist is saying what you said that concerns you, and they will revert that onto you as if you're the cause of the problem. So they're always going to copy paste information. They don't have depth. They don't have a personality. They can't empathize with you or your feelings or what you're going through on the inside, because you have a personality, you have feelings, you have emotions, you have this healthy way of being, and that's having an internal self. The narcissists don't have that. So now going back to dealing with the kids and with the lawyers and with work, you got to understand that no matter what day it is or what year it is, you're always going to get the same thing from a narcissist. It's never going to go deep. It's never going to ever go deep. And if you actually sit back and really take a second to really remember your whole relationship with them, did you really have a deep, meaningful, excruciating, 1,000 billion conversations? It probably happened in the beginning, in the love bombing stage. They probably gave you a little sob story about their life, which was not even all bad. They learned a lot about you, and so they know a lot about you, and they know your hit points, your wounds, your fears, your emotions. And it's really sad. They just kind of play around with that to gain your emotions, to feed their ego. So in the end of the day, if you're raising kids with a narcissist, I gotta be honest with you, it's a really bad idea, because they're not really gonna have a meaningful attachment to the child unless they created a golden child, which is actually just another extension of who they are. And what do I mean by extension of who they are? They raised a child with pure ego and pure superficialism. So that child too is not really gonna have their own personality. Now you may ask, well, the narcissist does have a personality. It seems like they're very charming, and it seems like they're really outgoing, and they put up this front when they're around certain type of people. But notice how they always change their personality with a certain type of group or a certain situation. They are never one being. They are always different. They have thousands of masks. And this is why you're never going to have an authentic relationship with a narcissist, because they don't have a personality. I'm not sure if this sank in yet, but having a personality is extremely deep. It's where you can talk to somebody and hear their own opinions, hear their own thoughts and their worries and concerns, and their actual genuine, real stories that actually mean something. If a narcissist ever speaks to you about anything, it's probably going to be about their mother, or how much money they made, or what kind of car they want to have, or what kind of food they like. It's never deep. I'm sorry, I'm just laughing because, it's just how they are. You see, you have to understand, you are a person with actual internal virtues, which is personality, love, affection, emotions. That's a big deal, okay? Now you're with somebody, you're spending time with somebody who doesn't have these things, and they basically just tell you what you want to hear because they figured you out. They tell you what you want to hear so you could stay on this loop with them, because they can't really admit that there's something wrong with them, because they truly don't see what's wrong with them, you see. There are people on planet Earth who have a sense of self, and there are people who don't have a sense of self, and their whole life is based on superficialism, materialistic things, attachment to the physical. Ask any narcissist if they're afraid of death. They are horrified of death. They can't even fathom the thought that they're not going to be on planet Earth one day. Okay, so they really make sure that they always look good. They always make sure that they look good because it's all superficial. So to everybody who's going through a trial right now with a narcissist, to anybody who is going through a divorce or has been discarded by a narcissist and has children with them, please don't take this in the wrong way. But this is all happening for your own good. You don't need to be in a relationship with somebody who doesn't have what you have on the inside. And they will never have it. So a lot of times when you find yourself arguing with a narcissist or explaining yourself or writing these long texts of, hey, or feeling bad, right? Whenever you spoke to them and you feel like they didn't give you any love, so you feel like you got to do something extra, right? To get that attention back. There's a reason why you keep feeling the way that you feel, and there's a reason why you keep repeating the same loop with the same person, and you're going through these texts and intense arguments. It's because this individual, please understand, does not have a personality. People who have a real, authentic personality, who understand, like, yeah, we're gonna die one day. Okay, yeah, I have money in the bank, so what? I got this car, no big deal. Oh, I'm aging. That's natural, And, hey, I don't love you anymore, for example. Let's talk about separation and taking care of the kids together. There's no such thing. There's always intense drama, intense pain, because the narcissist doesn't have a personality, so they cannot give you what you want on an emotional level. They cannot. And it's really, really hard to understand, but eventually you're going to keep going through these cycles with this person, whoever that person may be. And then you're going to sit there. Maybe you should do this. Take my advice, because I've done it many times. Even till this day, there's so many narcissists out there, for God's sake. I have a neighbor who's a narcissist, okay? Do this. If you're finding yourself meeting up with a narcissist and trying to make amends or whatever, why don't you just sit in silence with them? And don't be afraid, don't be nervous, just completely be in silence, be at peace, take some deep breaths, and just sit there and chill. The narcissist is not gonna talk, and if they are gonna talk, it's gonna be very superficial, and you probably heard this exact sentence before. They're very predictable in the things that they say, so you already know what they're gonna say before they say it. And just keep sitting in silence. Whenever they say something ridiculous, don't answer. Just don't answer. And keep being calm and quiet and keep analyzing and observing them. They are not going to have anything to say to you. So in this moment, they're mirroring you again. What's that mirroring? Silence. I'm not going to talk if she's not talking or if he's not talking. Okay, I'm not going to talk. Once my supply, my victim, is going to start talking, then I'm going to get this fuel, and then I'm going to be able to be this fake person again and just tell them some BS again, and they're going to keep going back and forth with me, and we're going to do this, ridiculous ping pong play again, and all that's going to really happen is you're going to keep giving me fuel. You're going to validate my false self. You're going to validate my ego. You're going to believe that I'm an actual human being who has care or compassion for you. And I'm just going to keep repeating exactly what I said the other day. I'm going to have the exact same emotion. I may fake a tear or two because I'm just mirroring your emotions. And, by the end of this, you're going to be really drained and you're going to be exhausted and you're going to feel like something's missing and you're going to actually wonder what you did wrong. And if you said this or did this, it was going to get better. And I really want you to understand that if you were with a person who was a stand-up person, in a sense, like if you were with a person who was like you wouldn't feel so empty in the end of that conversation or that meeting. And the reason you feel so empty is because you're talking to something that doesn't exist. So you're just giving this time and energy and effort to try to make this person understand, and they just never do. And that's because you guys are not the same. Okay? So I really hope that you understand that the narcissist doesn't have a personality. So if you're going to go to court with them and they're going to flaunt around and be charming and be loud and be this, and the lawyer is going to have their back, just sit there in silence. Don't panic. Don't start getting loud. Don't try to even explain yourself. Just be calm. If you have statements on paper, if you can, first of all, I also want to say that a lot of lawyers, they have narcissistic traits. And a lot of them are actually narcissists as well. And so a lot of times, the lawyers are actually going to have the narcissist's back. So if you're going through this right now, just know that this is a time in your life where the universe, source, God, whatever you choose to feel, the universe is getting this toxicity out of your life. And you just have to go with the flow. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen, whether it's a good outcome or a bad outcome. At least you learned this lesson with this person. You learned these traits. You learned that you're never going to really get that false story that you believed about this person in your head because they never actually existed. And it's really, really, really excruciatingly painful when you realize that this person was just a facade, and it's really painful when you see it. It's really painful when you see it. And, everybody goes through narcissistic abuse in their lifetime one way or another. That's just a lesson that every human has to go through in order to really understand, discern by the fruit, I like to say. Because if you don't know personality traits, if you don't know the difference between someone who is real and someone who's fake, then you're gonna have to go through a lot of trials in life to get there. A lot of people, they feel after narcissistic abuse, they feel extremely ashamed of themselves, panicked, PTSD, a lot of pain and grief comes along with that, and a lot of why did I deal with this and why did I do this and and it's very painful. But at least you see in this narcissistic relationship that you had all the lack really that you had within yourself to allow somebody to treat you like this and try to get them to see your point of view. Because as much as we want the people that we love to see our point of view, if they are doing what they're doing, then that's what they're doing. You see, sometimes the brain doesn't, it tries to, we have feelings instead of logic. Sometimes it's really good to just look at logically at what's going on in life. This is what's happening. The story that's playing in my head, cognitive dissonance, right, is just another fear-based thought of what would happen if I let this go. What would happen if I really acknowledge that this person is toxic? What would happen if I have to be alone with my kids? What would happen? What would the lawyer say? What's going to happen? And it's something that you're going to have to go through. And it's going to make you stronger. So I'll see you guys in the next mental health series. Please take care of yourself and don't beat yourself up over something that you were not aware of. It's gonna all make sense when the time is right.